This is Matt Hurt at Obsessive Viewer on Twitter.
This is Robert Fekkes at Nerdster330 on Instagram.
And this is ObsessiveViewer.com's The Obsessive Viewer Podcast. And welcome to The Obsessive Viewer. We're a movie and TV podcast that covers a specific topic, be it genre, trope, movie, or show, each episode. You can find more of our work at ObsessiveViewer.com. You can also like us on Facebook and join the Facebook group at Facebook.com/TheObsessiveViewer. And finally, support us on Patreon at Patreon.com/ObsessiveViewer, where you can get access to a special RSS feed with special content recorded specifically for Patreon supporters. We just talked about dinosaurs and the MCU, I think.
Yeah, that's correct. There is actually precedent that dinosaurs exist in the Marvel Universe.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you saying that dinosaurs don't exist in our universe?
Well, they don't exist anymore.
Right.
Those are just bones put here by the devil to fool everybody from away from Jesus Christ.
Well,
this is common knowledge.
That's fair. Then again, also, to be fair, if you were to dig as far as they've supposedly dug for bones, you would just get to the other side.
That's true, because the Earth is flat.
Yeah.
Well, all facts. Hashtag facts.
Jesus.
No, but there is, in the Marvel Universe, not cinematic yet, but there's a place called the Savage Land.
Okay.
And in this land, it's a world separated by oceans on Earth where exists dinosaurs still.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Wow. I'm kind of imagining like a King Kong kind of scenario.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Well, that is interesting. So, by the way, I'm your host, the aforementioned Matt Hurt. With me today is recurring co-host Robert Fekkes.
Hello.
Hello. And, yeah, so we're going to be talking about Captain Marvel and some other stuff today. I don't really have any housekeeping or feedback. I do want to mention that we are still going strong with our relaunched other podcasts. Although Anthology is running a little bit behind, but that's fine. It's fine.
Going strong.
Yes. So we've got Anthology, which is my solo podcast where I talk about The Twilight Zone as a first-time viewer. And I'm going to be talking about The Invaders coming up soon. That's a really good episode. And then we also have Tower Junkies, which is me and Tiny talking about Stephen King and The Dark Tower, which is super fun to do, even though we haven't really been talking about The Dark Tower that much on it. But yeah. And Fekkes, I think we're going to have you on to talk about the Dark Tower books.
Eventually, yes.
Yeah, so, check out Tower Junkies, because I did something stupid, in the most recent episode. It's so dumb.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not great.
Oh, no. It's the dumbest and best thing I've ever done.
That could be accurate.
Let's be fair, but, so stupid. Anyway, we just finished reviewing season 1 of Castle Rock, which is, a show that ended
Castle Rock!
I made an alternate version of that with Tiny saying that, and man. I tacked it on the end of the episode.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that episode's gonna get pulled for copyright infringement.
Yeah.
So before we get into Captain Marvel and everything, Fekkes, I wanted to bring up a piece of news. Well, this one piece of news broke today. We don't need to talk about it that much, but, the whole Lori Loughlin and...
Oh my god, yeah, that...
Yeah.
Hilarious is what it is.
That, I haven't read up on it exactly, but, like, more and more every day, it feels like we are in a world where someone, we're in like a timeline where someone in the world has gone back in time and done something that fucked everything up for us in this timeline.
Goddamn Aunt Becky.
Yeah. So, like, just imagine, like, a time traveler goes back in time and then comes back and then sees the headline, Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman.
Like, the time traveler would have had to go to Lori Loughlin and, like, the day she's giving birth, like, hey, if your daughter doesn't get into this country, the world literally ends.
Exactly.
Or if your daughter doesn't get into this college, the world literally ends. And she's like, fair enough. I must use my riches to make sure that this happens.
Yes. So weird. So for context, Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman were...
And 48 other people.
Including NCAA coaches.
Yeah, there's a coach. I think there's some exec for a production company too, I think.
Okay. And were they officially charged, or were they just...
they're listed in the indictment right now. Okay. So it's going to... Most likely with a high profile case like this, it goes to a grand jury, and the grand jury decides whether or not to file the official charges, but they've all been indicted, and therefore at this point can be subpoenaed. But, they're still a couple steps away from officially being charged. They'll get charged.
Yes, I've seen The Wire.
Yeah.
So they've been indicted on,
basically bribery.
Yeah. In a what seems to be a widespread, I guess, or
I would say fairly widespread.
College admission bribery scheme.
Yeah.
Which, okay, cool.
I just can't. This is gonna be another thing that I will be watching every single day, because this is it's amazing. Like reading some of the articles in this, people have been donating millions of dollars to get their kids into a college. I'm like,
jeez.
There is nothing wrong with the state school, people.
Right. God.
It's like, no, I'm rich. My kid deserves better.
Oh, God. Well, it sure beats getting into the schools on merit.
Right. Who wants that?
Yeah. God.
My kid deserves better than that, even though they didn't prove it
in
the other way.
Oh, jeez. The only thing worse would be if they were unvaccinated. Yeah, so that happened today. I can't wrap my head around it.
Well, there's still a lot of information that's going to be coming out on this, I'm sure.
And we will be covering this,
24-hour news cycle.
Exactly. I'm going to call you as soon as, news drops. I'm going to leave work. You're going to leave work. We're going to meet up. We're going to record, the most
absolutely
everything. And then release it. Yeah.
We're going to get a hold of Sam Nelson to get his opinion, since he's a big Full House fan.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, he's going to be our, our expert analysis.
Exactly. Yeah. And then he can also work in, the HR side of it and everything.
They're very good. Yeah. Perfect.
Jesus.
We'll have to let him know that he is officially hired.
Right. So, so that happened, but the other piece of news that I wanted to bring up, the more serious or relevant, not serious, but the more exciting thing that I wanted to bring up was that, the Lord of the Rings on Prime, series that's going to be coming out. They're currently working on it. You had posted something on Facebook about Lord of the Rings, how you had rewatched the trilogy and how it held up and everything. And,
and how The Hobbit had soured my taste for the universe. So you
rewatched the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I'd asked you on Facebook, what do you think of the Prime one? So, do you want to have that conversation again?
Sure, because I can't even remember what I wrote down on Facebook, but I'll watch it, and I'm kind of tentatively excited, I guess, just because The Hobbit's gotten away, I'm away from The Hobbit now.
Sure.
And, it's a great world to have stories in, and there's endless stories in the Tolkien, was it the Compendium or something like that? That doesn't sound right.
Silmarillion?
Yeah, that's what it is. Silmarillion or something.
Yeah,
some weird Tolkien word.
Super Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's plenty of history for them to base the show on, and sorry about that. And the little information we have right now is it's going to be taking place a couple thousand years before the events of the Lord of the Rings, and the main villain's going to be the Witch King.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited for it. I think there's a lot of potential there for some good story and some good TV. So
nice. I agree. This, like, I haven't read the books. I did actually just start The Hobbit today, so I'm gonna hopefully go through.
It'll take you longer to watch those 3 movies than it would for you to read that book.
Yep, I believe it. As long as I get my Legolas and
The
Hobbit, yeah.
He's all over that book.
Yeah. So anyway, I did just start that. Like, I'm really enjoying. I only got like half an hour into the audiobook, but I'm really excited.
It's a good book. I like The Hobbit.
Nice.
I kind of was wanting to go back and reread Lord of the Rings, but I've only done that once, and it is long-winded.
Yeah, it seemed that I think that's one of the things that one of the reasons I've kind of held off on it, because it seems like really, really dense with like just characters and details and stuff. It
really is. So, he is descriptive to a fault.
Nice. How does it compare to, like, one thing that I've noticed when listening to the Harry Potter audiobooks, and I've noticed this before, is that J.K. Rowling, like, she's great, but it seems like she has this penchant for over-describing, like, food. And it's fun and whimsical and stuff, but it's like, okay, alright, just, okay, I don't care if they're on the 3rd helping of treacle tarts or anything, like, just get to the...
They do eat a lot of treacle tarts.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know, and then it makes me think that the Wizarding World is just a dickhead world that's just all about decadence and
well, actually, it just seems like the Wizarding World in England is that way, because when the French Beauxbaton Academy comes, they all talk about how heavy and yeah. So it's not the entire Wizarding World.
That's fair. That's fair. I guess I should have held my parcel tongue.
Ha! Yeah. Good one.
Okay, so anyway, so the Lord of the Rings show is going to be taking place, like you said, in the Second Age of Middle Earth, and that spans, like, the Second Age itself spans like 3,000 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and that age ends with the wars that were depicted in the prologue of the Fellowship of the Ring.
No, it begins after Isildur dies and loses the ring. I want to say that this all takes place after Isildur's Bane.
No, I think it all leads up to it.
I think it takes place between Isildur's Bane and The Hobbit.
Second Age was the time period of Arda that began after the climactic banishment of Morgoth into the Void by the Lords of the West, led by Ianwe, the Herald of Menwe. Second Age lasted for 3,441 years and ended with the downfall of Sauron's army when he was defeated by the last alliance of elves and men following the downfall of Numenor.
Okay.
So yeah, and that's when it, like, that era, the Second Age that ends with that is the time frame that the series is going to take place in. Not that they're going to span the full 3,000 years.
This is going to be a long-ass series.
Yeah. Well, when they bought the rights, they bought it for like a 5-season series.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of story there to go through.
Yeah. I just think it would be kind of cool if it all kind of leads up to that, like the fall of Sauron, and that's the end of the series.
We'll see.
Kind of just leads. It can kind of lead into the Fellowship of the Ring, and then you can just kind of forget the Hobbit movies.
Boy, I do try.
Yeah. Final piece of news, though. By the way, I'm excited for the Lord of the Rings show. I think it could be fun and could be really cool. And on a semi-related note, when was it? Last Saturday? Saturday Night Live, Idris Elba hosted. Do you watch SNL at all?
No.
Okay.
We get it. You're liberal.
Yeah, that's right. Did you see that the Catholic Church got all pissy over a sketch or a bit on Weekend Update, I think, where Pete Davidson was talking about how he was comparing people who still like R. Kelly's music with Catholics who still go to church.
Well, first of all, the Catholic Church shouldn't be angry at anybody for making any type of jokes upon them because talk about a horrible institution in my opinion.
Right.
But
oh yeah, and they did get pissed at it and like they demanded like an apology or something. Like, okay,
no,
let just stop fucking the kids and we'll talk.
Right. Like literally the second highest person in the Catholic Church has just been found guilty of child molestation.
God.
So how about you just sit this one out, Catholic Church?
Yeah. So I don't know if this is the Catholic Church endorsing R. Kelly's behavior or not, but that's my take on it.
I don't hear them condemning it.
No. Jesus. But anyway, so Idris Elba had hosted, and this is just for no one except for this is really for no one because I hated the movie, but they had like a nice little Dark Tower reference.
Aww.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Nobody got it.
There was there was a sketch where Idris Elba and someone else were doing like it was a corporate like office thing where they were doing like a seminar on how to do PowerPoint or how to use PowerPoint. And so they had like groups of people that each had like their own like PowerPoint that they wanted to demonstrate. And so the first one was these two people that they showed their PowerPoint, and like the bullets on the PowerPoint were instead of just regular like circles and bullets and stuff, they were actually like the sigil of Arthur Eld from the Dark Tower series. And yeah, I was just like, that's pretty fucking cool.
And you were the only one that got it.
Yeah. And then it was really cool because Idris Elba was like really good with the bullet points. And I was like, oh my god, he's sort of acknowledging
that this movie exists.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm going to talk about it more on Tower Junkies, but I did just throw on the Dark Tower like
God,
2
why?
days ago. Just out of curiosity, because I just finished re-listening to The Wastelands, which is book 3. And, I will say, watching it, I didn't, I think I'm just past, just vehemently hating it. And so, I was just like, okay, it's not affecting me at all, because it's more unaffected than anything, in terms of me reacting to it. But, I will say that I got about 37 minutes into it before I just turned it off and took a nap. So
fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah, it was. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's all we got for news and everything. Let's talk about Captain Marvel.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So Captain Marvel is the 20-something.
23rd, maybe.
3rd, I think.
I can't.
Sure.
Something like it's around there.
Yeah. It's the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, and it is. I do have. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm sorry. I have a plot description that, courtesy of me being bored at work. So to bring us into this review, I have this short plot description. We're gonna do a non-spoiler review and then spoiler review. We will warn you when we go into spoilers, and we'll play a bit from the trailer before we go into spoilers. So, plot description, courtesy of my dumbass, is in 1990s LA, while Carol Danvers becomes one of the universe's most powerful heroes, Nick Fury becomes best friends with Goose, an adorable little kitty that's just the cutest little thing in the whole MCU. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Such a cute little good kitty. Such a good kitty.
God. That's enough.
Yeah, and it's all right there.
Yep, he wrote it out, people.
I wrote it all out.
He wrote it all out.
Please still listen to this podcast. So yeah, so this is Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, Brie Larson. The internet sucks. Should we talk about that bullshit?
Why? You know what? We all know what the internet does. Everyone knows what the internet's going to say, and just don't give them the time of day.
Yeah. That's fair. I do love this one tweet that I saw that was, someone said something like, God, Stan Lee would be would hate what they did to the MCU. And then someone replied with, he was in the fucking movie. Like, are you that fucking stupid? So non-spoiler review of Captain Marvel. And what were your expectations going into it? Like, in terms of your excitement and your history with Captain Marvel? Like,
well, my history with Captain Marvel is only recent, really. She's one of the members of the current Avengers book, so I read her there. She was a big part of Marvel Civil War 2, where she was a less likable character for me. Like she works perfect for her character in that storyline. But to me, I did not. She was almost the enemy to me in that scenario. I was Team Stark on that.
Interesting.
That particular storyline. But I'm not all that well versed in the character of Captain Marvel, just when she's kind of an ancillary character in some of the books I read now. But I was excited for the movie because the trailers made it look fantastic. I really enjoy Brie Larson. Anytime I get to see Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, I'm pumped. And I liked them going back into the space realm that was kind of built up through the Guardians of the Galaxy series. Yeah. So I was super excited for this movie. I had very high expectations going in.
Same here. I was very excited for it. The trailers were definitely doing it for me. And, I'll mention this in a bit, but, I was really excited for it just because it's something different.
I don't know how different. Well, it's hard to call any of these movies different anymore.
That's totally fair. What I meant was more like it was a woman and not like men. They've had like women in the MCU and everything. Tony Stark fucked one in Iron Man, but
a couple,
yeah. But no, they do have like there's some good like side characters throughout the MCU, but this is the first like female-led Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, and I was excited for it because Brie Larson I think is fantastic, and I, like you said, Sam L, I was really excited for him, and the de-aging CGI I was curious about and excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do. You were at the screening that me and Kirsten were at, right?
Correct.
Okay. Cause you left afterwards, and like we were gonna invite you to get food or whatever.
Oh fuck! I didn't want to interrupt the.
Oh, you're fine.
No, I feel bad because
you should, but no, you're.
No, fine. I do because I totally would have joined you guys.
Yeah. It was good that we went to Chili's. It was fun.
Huh.
But yeah, it was funny because like you left and then like we left and then I went to the bathroom and I think like you were just leaving the bathroom. I think it was you. Like right as I was going in. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, anyway, like whatever. And then like all through like dinner, with Kirsten, I was sitting there thinking like, that was Fekkes, right? Like,
I didn't say hi to some random guy.
I didn't just stare down this dude until he recognized me or thought that he recognized someone. So yeah, but yeah. Anyway, so that was fun, and I did tell Kirsten that.
It's too bad you didn't have a device or something that could have like indicated to me, since we didn't cross paths after I left the screening, that. You were going someplace.
I didn't even really think about that until like just this moment, because I kept getting into my head like, maybe it wasn't Fekkes. Cause like, I don't know, I'm weird, but yeah, next time. But I did tell Kirsten that, she was like, did he stay for the after credit scene? I was like, yeah, he just left. And then she was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, yeah, according to the bylaws, we can't have two recurring co-hosts in the same realm.
Right. I almost left the screening anyway. Yes, like, oof.
Exactly. But yeah, so that was fun. That was like opening
It was
Friday night.
Friday night, yeah.
Yeah. And, the theater was reasonably.
I said moderately filled.
Yeah. Not packed per se, but, that was another thing I was going to bring up, or I should have brought up real quick. The Dark Knight trilogy is playing at IMAX, in 70 millimeter in an 8-hour marathon. And then like in late April is when it's going to be in Indy. And I'm like thinking like, that is kind of tempting.
It's a long time.
It is. But, those movies.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, so fun theater experience. I don't have any like terrible stories or anything.
I remember thinking that if something shitty happens in this experience, it's because I happened to be at a screening with you. Right. And I was like, he's cursed with screenings, and I'm now in the screening with him. Like, something terrible is going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But fortunately, nothing terrible happened.
Nope, it was a very pleasant screening.
Yes. So broad thoughts, non-spoiler. What did you think of Captain Marvel?
I thought it was rather bland.
Why do you hate women?
Jesus. I was like, I didn't see her bake anything or fold a single piece of laundry. It was great. No, it was okay. And I think it was built up a lot for me too. It may have been part of the problem, but I thought like the middle portion of the movie in particular was just kind of bland to me. Okay. And maybe it was appropriately 90s, I guess, to me. Just kind of like, meh. So, the ending, the last act, I thought was really good. And there were some things in the middle that I enjoyed. Like, I thought that Carol and her friend had a really good moment talking to each other at the table.
Yeah, that was good.
I really enjoyed that. But the whole buddy cop with Fury portion of the movie, I don't know, I just didn't get behind. Like, there were some funny parts to it, but I didn't love, and like I said, it's not like I hated the movie, it's just I did not think it was great. And to be perfectly honest, I think it's one of the weaker films in the MCU.
Interesting. Where would you, we might be getting ahead of ourselves, where would you rank it? Like, would you say it's, like, what, between which MCU movies would you say, like, oh, it's better than this, but not as good as that?
Well, it's better than Thor 2, which isn't saying a whole lot. I don't know. Like, there's not a whole lot of the MCU movies that I flat out dislike.
Right.
So it's hard for me to play that game, and I hate to put it someplace, and especially with all these movies that I've seen dozens of times.
Right.
So I don't know. It's better than Thor Dark World, I'll say that.
Did you like it more than the first Thor? Because it shares some slight similarities.
Maybe I'd have to see it again.
Okay.
Because I think there's some pretty iconic scenes from the first Thor that I just really hit home with me. So I don't know. I've seen it once. Obviously, I'm going to see it multiple times. I'm going to own it because it's part of the MCU. Like I said, I don't want people to think that I hated the movie. I just didn't think it was great.
Sure.
And the fight sequences I thought were a bit uninspired.
I saw you mention on Facebook that you felt like they just basically
specifically when she and this is a conversation best had at spoilers.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, we'll save that for spoilers. Yeah. I liked the movie quite a bit, actually. I thought it was a blast. It was, really kind of refreshing to have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, first of all, return to the whole spacefaring stuff and space galactic crap. But also to have it set in the 90s. I was all about that.
They, in my opinion, they almost just took it too far, beating me with, hey, it's in the 90s. Like, oh, I get it. I get it. We're in the 90s. You just shot Arnold Schwarzenegger's silhouette. I get it. But
she didn't shoot Jamie Lee Curtis's there, so that was a clearly anti-man.
A very anti-man. Jeez, I mean, good God.
Yeah,
do I feel attacked as a white male?
And I should say that, like, obviously, probably it would have been prudent to have Kirsten on for this.
Right. Well, it's a backstory for the listeners. Yeah. When Matt sent me a text asking me if he if I wanted to review it. I was like, well, I figured that you would have Kirsten on to review it, and not just because Kirsten's a woman, and
Right.
but she was at the show, and I was like, well, that'd be a good dynamic having this. But he was like, no, I really can't have a woman review this movie, and I thought that was weird of Matt. It's very misogynistic of him.
No, that's not what. She has theater stuff going on in school and stuff. She's busy.
He says theater, but he said kitchen stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe he meant that is her theater. I don't know.
I mean,
in either way, I was surprised with the tone that he took with it.
I'm not a misogynist.
None of that is true.
Yeah,
none of that is true.
I love women. I love them so much I completely stay away from them. But no, yeah. So she's like been super busy with like theater stuff. She just finished Almost Maine, which was the show she was in, and then now she's going right into rehearsals for 2 shows that are both playing for Diva Fest here in Indianapolis. Like, I don't understand how people can do it. Like, she has 2 shows that perform over 2 weekends. At least one of those nights or one of those days, she has like 2 performances, 1 performance of each show in.
God, that's got to screw with your head.
Yeah, I don't understand it.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And on top of that, she's doing school for human resources or something.
It's quite a marvel.
It is. It's quite a captain.
Quite a captain.
But anyway, so that's the reason why we have two white men here talking about Captain Marvel.
And putting her place in the MCU.
Exactly.
And you hear that, listeners? He asked me to put Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, into her place in the MCU. God, Matt, it's just I've never seen this side of you.
I can't. So on that note, though, I do love that this is, a new, not new stage, but like it's a new playing field for the MCU. Like it's the MCU's first like woman-led superhero movie, which is great.
But you know what? To be fair, in my opinion, it shouldn't have been. And I'm not saying I'm not standing up, feminist, like, it should have been a female-led one, 20 years ago. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I think that the wrong character got the first woman-led Marvel movie. It should have, in my opinion, it should have been Scarlett Johansson. I think there should have been a Black Widow movie. Not to take anything.
There hasn't been.
It's in the talks right now. It's in the planning process. Not to take anything away from this movie because it's good to have it had happened.
Right.
And I'm glad, despite my less than enthusiastic opinion of the movie, I am happy to see that it's successful and getting good. I'm glad people are liking it.
Yeah.
So,
despite with the internet.
Well, internet. I'm glad it wasn't like Catwoman, just a total horrible manifestation of awfulness.
Right.
So I'm glad people are enjoying it. I'm disappointed that I didn't like it as much.
Right.
I'm thinking about going to revisit it on my next days off to see if maybe my opinion changes on it. But as it stands right now, it was okay to me.
Nice. And that's totally your misogynistic prerogative. But no, I totally get that. And we'll talk about more specifics and spoilers, but I do want to just highlight that this is a big thing for, the comic book movies. Because, we had Wonder Woman, now we have Captain Marvel. Like,
I will stand by, I think Wonder Woman was a stronger movie.
Oh, really? See, I haven't revisited Wonder Woman since the theater, but I remember really liking it.
And for nothing else, I think, Patty Jenkins really gets how to shoot an action sequence.
I'll give you that.
And I do not think that these directors were comfortable shooting an action sequence.
I will agree with you there, and we'll talk about that in spoilers. But yeah, I can totally, like, Wonder Woman definitely had it.
There was just no impact for me with these action sequences, and this is a superhero movie, like it or not, for better for worse. That's what you need in a superhero movie, especially one as super powered as Captain Marvel. Because Carol Danvers in the MCU and in the comic book universe is arguably one of the most powerful characters in either universe.
Right.
So I should really feel the impact of that power.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think I did.
That's fair. That's fair. But it is great that that there is representation, that they're like,
Sure.
female representation. Yeah. I will say, I turned to Kirsten after the movie and I said, after all these years, 10 plus years of Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, over 20 movies, it's so great that they finally have, cat lover, representation in the MCU.
Funny because it's not a cat.
I felt, right. I felt represented myself. And pizza is my little flirkin. Anything we should touch on in non-spoilers. What did you think of the de-aging makeup?
Oh, I thought it was flawless.
CGI? So did I.
I thought it was incredible, how well they did. Mm-hmm. With Greg Clark, I don't think
Greg.
To me, he's Greg Clark.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Clark Gregg. With him, I don't think they needed all that much touching up because he's not an old looking guy to begin with, but Samuel Jackson's damn near 60 years old. If not, no, he might be over 60.
He's over 60, I think.
Yeah. And to be fair to Sam, he doesn't look at all 60 years old.
Right.
He holds his age amazingly.
Yeah.
But, with Nick Fury, there's still a lot of things that typically, he's got the eye patch scar, he's looked grizzled, but they did a great job of really making Sam Jackson just look a lot younger.
Absolutely. And he has so much screen time that I'm surprised that they were able to sustain that.
Exactly. With certain, you go back to things like Tony Stark in Civil War, where they do his de-aging process there, and that's only for a short period of time.
Yeah.
And it's decent, but it's not flawless.
Even when it came out, I was just it still felt a little too Uncanny Valley, and even though it is like a hologram, so I gave it a pass there.
Right.
It's a hologram, so it's not supposed to look like photorealistic per se. It still just didn't look. It looked off, and the strides that they've taken with the technology between that and like Ant-Man and the other ones. Guardians 2.
Yeah, with
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
And then now Captain Marvel. This was there's one moment early on where Nick Fury is, he goes up to a car and he leans into the window of the car and he says something to someone in the car, and the sunlight just hits his face in a certain way. And the way it's lit, it looks just incredibly natural and realistic. And I was just in the back of my head, I was like, okay, they're just showing off. That's just them just being look at what we can do. Yeah.
They're probably really going to need to have had that technology on point come Endgame. So, given where people think that storyline is going to lead.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I agree. We'll talk about that in spoilers, but, perhaps.
Nah, we'll just make this about Captain Marvel.
Okay, cool. So that was cool. As far as the action, I like the actual action Captain Marvel action sequences. I thought were fun. I will meet you halfway and say that they didn't floor me the way that the set pieces in the Winter Soldier or Civil War floored me, because it just felt kind of standard comic book movie kind of thing.
Yeah, nothing that stood out for those action sequences to me.
Right. So plus it kind of we'll talk about that in spoilers, but anyway,
and to be perfectly honest, with a character like Captain Marvel and knowing where she comes from and the things that she does in the comic books, I could have done with a lot more time in the actual space realm.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe they're trying to not be Guardians of the Galaxy of it, but that's an entire universe to play with, and you throw her on Earth, where every other Marvel movie takes place.
But it's Earth in the 90s, though.
Yeah, I saw.
Blockbuster.
There's a Blockbuster.
And a security guard.
True Lies is happening, and pagers are things.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the 90s stuff, and the buddy cop stuff I thought was a lot of fun. I early on I was like, I want to see like a buddy comedy with Fury and Coulson, like kind of a buddy comedy / like Men in Black type of movie.
I just think the stronger
With
portions of the
90s.
movie were them dealing with more galactic time frames, or not even, anytime that they're in more of an intergalactic realm, like they may not be out in the middle of the galaxy in the third act, but they're still on a spaceship.
Right.
The first act I like seeing is it Hala? The Kree, the Kree world
so,
that they're on. I like that. I liked her, having her little stint with the, intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So and then they put it on Earth, and I felt like at that part it got bland for me. Like there were enjoyable moments. Like I enjoyed the chemistry between, Fury and, Carol, and I enjoyed the friendship with Carol and, Rambeau.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just felt like it was a drag in the middle of the movie to me.
Sure. And that's interesting because I felt like it kind of, it struggled a little bit to capture my attention in the beginning because like they threw a lot of mythology and backstory at us. That's where I kind of struggled with it. But once I kind of latched onto that, I was good to go. But let's talk about more specifics and go into spoilers.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So we're going to go into spoilers for Captain Marvel, and we're going to play a clip from the trailer.
I thought you were going to play a Downy commercial. Downy laundry detergent commercial, which I felt was misogynistic as well.
No,
which is why I thought it was weird that you brought that up.
It's not that.
He's got a lot of weird ideas for this podcast,
It's not.
guys.
It's not. It's representation matter. So here's a clip from the trailer, and we're gonna go into spoilers for Captain Marvel.
So Skrulls are the bad guys. And you're a Kree, a race of noble warriors.
Heroes. Noble warrior heroes.
Okay. The first thing. Okay. Stupid joke. Yeah. So like the world that she's in is Hala, and like my question is like if she goes like back to Hala, would you say she's a Hala Batgirl?
I don't know, but it really looked like a city of Squala. Hala, city of Squala.
That was good.
Thank you.
That was good. But yeah. Where should we start with all of this?
We could go into the big twist on the bad guy, because the bad guy in the film are supposed to be the
Skrulls.
The Skrulls, yes, the shape-shifting alien race, the Skrulls.
Which I did mention to Kirsten. I don't know if I mentioned it to her. I thought of it later, but I was like, maybe that wasn't Fekkes. Maybe he was a Skrull.
Oh, nice.
So, but yeah.
So the Skrulls are built up at the start of the movie as they're the enemies of the Kree, and they're actively trying to infest different worlds within the galaxy and take them over. So they're built up immediately as these are the bad guys of the film.
Yeah.
And legit in the comic books, the Skrulls are an evil race of beings.
Okay.
Like there's rarely a time where the Skrulls are like on the side of good.
Mm-hmm.
They're actively always trying to do that. Always trying to infiltrate. Mm-hmm. So that's a good basis, but it flips the script then by turning the Skrulls into the sympathetic refugees, and the Kree are now technically the bad guys.
What did you think of that?
I enjoyed. I didn't really see that coming, only because I thought that eventually they were going to try to do a secret invasion storyline from the comic books, where the Skrulls try to infiltrate the superhero community and all forms of government on planet Earth to take over. So I thought they were introducing the Skrulls at that point, which I still think is a possibility. So I did not see the Skrulls being the sympathetic refugees, but I like that turn. I thought it was a good good little change, good little
Me
detour
too.
for the movie. And I really thought it brought out Ben Mendelsohn's character, and I thought Ben Mendelsohn was one of the strongest parts of the movie. I thought
me too.
he was a lot of fun.
He was great. Have you seen that? Picture that's been floating around? That's the tweet goes something like, "I don't know if this was intentional, but," and it shows a side by side of him as the scroll sipping the drink, and the picture to the left is almost the exact same kind of stance or whatever of Samuel L. Jackson sipping the drink from Pulp Fiction.
No, but that's funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I really liked that kind of surprise, that turn, because I didn't see it coming. And it was funny because Kirsten had said, she was like, yeah, I figured that was going to happen because like in like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and stuff, like the Kree are the bad guys. And like throughout.
Well, she's not wrong about that.
Right. Go ahead and mansplain to her.
No. The only thing I would say is, in the original Guardians, the Ronin is a Kree, but he is a defected.
Yeah. Kind of a. What's the word I'm looking for?
Basically, he thought the Kree have gone too soft, and he's going to be the more bound to scripture type of Kree.
Yeah. He's the militant.
Yes, militant, like a militant Kree. So, like, she's not wrong about that. But no, I didn't see it coming.
Yeah,
but
I didn't either, and I felt kind of dumb because I was like, well, of course, because I just assumed throughout the whole movie, like, okay, Jude Law is going to be a bad guy. Like, it's a given. Like, he's going to be the bad guy. I didn't realize that the depth of the bad guyness was going to be that, that type of thing. I thought he was just going to be working alone, but I really appreciated it.
Yeah, it was a good turn. It was one of the more thought out parts of the movie to me. I thought it was one of the, I don't know, it was one of the higher points for me. Sure.
And when that happened, and it's the reveal that Jude Law's character has been was there on.
Well, he was the cause of the death of her mentor, and the reason that she can no longer remember what happened, and the reason she has these powers.
Yep. I turned to Kirsten, and she said something like, oh wow, he's actually a bad guy, and I was like, yeah, I wonder if that's against Jude Law. So, yeah.
Ah, nice.
Yeah. But no, I liked that. I really liked the movie. Let's kind of backtrack a little bit and talk about the real star of the movie, Goose. So,
I did enjoy quite a bit of Goose.
So I tweeted like a week or so ago, like a week before the movie, I tweeted and said, I had retweeted something about Goose, and like I put like, honestly, Goose is like 40% of my anticipation for this movie is because I'm excited for Goose. And then Mike had tweeted and said like he doesn't really get it, like why people are kind of excited about the cat. And then he's like, and he's not a cat person. He kind of hates cats. So yeah, that's something we're working through. So like I had tweeted him, and I was like, honestly, I'm kind of being hyperbolic. Like obviously, like if the cat factors into the main plot of the movie in any way, I'm probably gonna roll my eyes.
Bullshit.
And as soon as like the movie was happening, I was like, I am gonna eat my words because I'm loving every second of this. So the Flurkin thing, like, first of all, I loved the comedy of the Skrulls being freaked out by Goose.
And the Skrull using, or no, it was the Kree that used that used the device that said Flurkin, highly dangerous.
Yes.
Then the Samuel L. Jackson was like, not dangerous.
Human, low to zero danger. Yeah. Or low to zero threat or something like that. Really great. Like
I said, That's you're in the space portion of that, and I think that's when the movie to me flourished.
Yeah, totally. Oh my god, sorry. Oh god, I'm just leaning into that. Holy shit. And I loved every single second that Samuel L. Jackson had with the cat. Like, that
He was funny.
Stole the movie.
With one exception.
Yes. 2 exceptions, I would say.
I fucking hated that the cat is the reason that he doesn't have an eye.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going completely different.
Oh, no.
Okay. I was going to save that for later, but we can talk about that now. It's so dumb.
It's too stupid.
So, I am so on board with it.
I am not. It's too stupid to me.
Yeah.
He gets scratched by the cat, and he doesn't even seem to give a fuck. It's like, oh, my eye's swollen shut. Oh, I guess I'm gonna lose my eye.
Well, I think the idea is that it gets worse because it's a flirt.
I understand why it's getting worse, but he doesn't seem concerned that it's getting worse.
But he's Nick Fury. He's Nicholas. I thought that it was hilarious that they did that. Like, first of all, throughout the movie, they have like 1 or 2 times where like his eye gets injured in some way, and it reminded me of like Hot Tub Time Machine
with the arms,
the bellboy,
yeah, the bellboy.
Yeah. And then when Goose scratches his eye at the end, I was like, are they really gonna do this? Like,
I was not on board with that.
And what I get that. I totally get that. But I kind of love that if you go back, and I saw this pointed out on Reddit, but if you go back to the Winter Soldier, he has a line, I think, to what's his name? Oh my god.
Steve?
No, the bad guy.
Are you talking about Robert Redford?
Yeah, Robert Redford. No, he may have been the captain. I don't know. But anyway, the line is, he says something to whoever he's talking to in Winter Soldier, and he's like, last time I trusted a man, I lost an eye. Yeah. And just the context, like the actual context of that now with this, like the retcon of that is hilarious.
Yeah. Or it could have been he trusted a guy that was disguised as a squirrel. I don't know. I was not on board with the Goose. Yeah, great. It's a cat. And the more I think about it, the more irritated I am about that.
That's fair.
I'm not on board with that being the way that Nick Fury loses his eye.
I so am.
But to each his own.
Yeah. That, and then when they introduce the pager thing, which we'll talk about the stingers in a bit, but I kind of, like, I made the joke, and, like, obviously this was never going to happen, but I would like to see, like, a sketch or an outtake or something where it's revealed that the message that he's sending to her at the end of Infinity War is just protect Goose or something. Because I really dug the bond of Goose and Fury. I thought that was really good. So what I was going to say when I said that it stole the movie, and you said with the exception of something else, I thought you were going to say the Stan Lee cameos. Well, the opening thing.
Oh, okay. So the opening title, title entrance for the MCU. Yeah, that was fantastic. I loved it. That was very
good. I love that. Was it? Like, gave me chills like throughout, like as it was going.
Yeah.
And then the actual cameo.
Oh, the cameo was fantastic.
I was so floored by that.
Yeah, the Mallrats thing. Yes. That was so good.
So perfect. And did you see Kevin Smith's?
That was.
Yeah.
I love Kevin Smith, and that's
too.
Full circle for him. Yeah, that was a great cameo for Stan Lee.
It's just so great because like it fits so well. Like,
it does.
It's perfect. But also on the other hand, it's like I don't know if I'd say surprised, but I'm just like, Mallrats was not a well-received movie. Like, it's this, like, little
It's a cult classic, but everyone, that's one of his first movie cameos, so.
That's true. It's damn near a supporting role.
And it's a good one, too, because, Brody's asking him about the Thing's dick, or it asks about the Hulk, does the Hulk's and Stan Lee makes a comment to Brody's friends, like, I think your friend is a little obsessed with superhero genitalia. It's probably just a phase.
Nice.
So, I mean, it's a good cameo, so I thought it was a great callback.
Me too. I loved it. So let's talk about the action sequences and stuff. First of all, I love the needle drop of including No Doubt in it.
That would be the most fun action sequence in the movie for me. I did enjoy that too. I thought it was fun, perfect song for that scenario.
Yeah.
But after that, though, I was not floored by any of the action sequences. Really? I thought that it lacked a lot of strength, a lot of oomph, I guess is what I want to say.
You think that it would have been better if a man was doing all the action?
God, so much better.
Yeah. No, but what'd you think of like the chase sequence in the beginning of the movie?
It was okay.
Really? Oh, okay.
I've seen chase sequences better done in other movies that are very similar.
And that's fair, but I don't know, something about it I think the 90s aesthetic and the setting
I think a lot of her sequence, or a lot of the sequences done in this movie, I thought were quite obviously borrowed from other films. Like the chase sequence with the rail car remind me too much of Spider-Man 2 sequence between Doc Ock and Spider-Man on the train.
Sure.
When Carol finally gets full control of her powers, it was Iron Man without a suit.
Yeah.
And hell, one of the sequences was almost a shot for shot Iron Man. Maybe it was an homage to the original Avengers, and maybe it was on purpose. But when she's flying towards up and shooting things with her blasting arms.
Oh, yeah, and kind of spinning around and
stuff. That was almost shot for shot Avengers Iron Man. Maybe it was intentional, but to me it just seemed like they just took all of Iron Man's powers and gave to Carol and said, okay, there's your action sequence. I just don't think that these directors were very competent in original action sequences.
Interesting. I didn't have any problem with the action sequences or anything, but I'd be curious to revisit it and see how I feel about it, because I thought it was done well. If not, kind of slightly above average for me, because it didn't I'll agree that it did seem kind of same as like the other ones.
Again, bland comes to mind a lot for me when describing this movie.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of the? I'll break into that sentence that I just started.
And you know what? The needle drop moment too remind me a lot of Kick-Ass with Hit Girl. Like almost exactly like it. I
guess.
The big needle. They have that exact, not the same song, but the exact same needle drop. I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh, Bad Reputation.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
But to me, it's almost the exact same scenario.
I'll give you that. I still loved it. I still thought it was good.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was one of the more memorable action sequences, but again, I just think these directors plagiarized their action sequences.
If anything, I think that the kind of derivative nature of it could have a negative impact on repeat viewings, but in the moment I was digging it.
Well, fair enough.
There was a moment where, and I wish that Kirsten was on for this one because I wanted to talk to her about this specifically, but the scene with the motorcycle, where the guy's like, hey, do you have a smile for me or whatever?
You mean the Terminator 2 scene? When he steals clothes and steals a motorcycle?
Oh, yeah. Damn. Wow. I did not make that connection. Huh. But anyway, the line where he's like, do you got a smile for me? Like,
I mean, I enjoyed that line too. Yeah. I thought that was very appropriate, especially given the people was like, oh, she doesn't smile.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous commentary on the whole thing. So I thought that was a good, fuck you to that, but.
You may have heard Kirsten, because she gasped. Kirsten's a feminist, and like she like gasped and like she was like so happy at that scene, and I was like that was pretty awesome. Yeah, I liked that a lot. Yeah, I don't really have like anything to refute your misogynistic take on it, but yeah, because I agree. Yeah, a lot of it is pretty derivative of other stuff, but I don't know. For some reason, it still worked for me. Maybe it was just the excitement over Brie Larson because I'm a huge Brie Larson fan,
and I'm a Brie Larson fan too. I don't know. I feel like that character is going to flourish a lot more in Endgame because I trust the Russo brothers to competently make an action sequence worth watching.
So do you think, and this is delving into more speculation than anything, but do you think that Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, is overpowered?
No.
Okay.
She's not invulnerable. I don't think she's Superman invulnerable, and that's always been one of my biggest critiques of Superman is he's too invulnerable.
Right.
So, no, I think that she's arguably the most powerful hero.
Sure.
But that doesn't mean she's unable to be defeated because she has been defeated before.
Yeah. I was having a conversation with Mike about this, and he said that his concern, he didn't really like the movie that much. He said that
so is he not misogynistic?
He just hated that she was, like, it was a woman. Like, he was like, it's called Captain America, not Countess America. He did not really say that, I promise. But, he said that his concern is that he's worried that they're going to bring her into Endgame as a Deus Ex Machina to kind of just destroy Thanos on her own.
I think that is far too easy of a cop-out for the Russo brothers. Like,
That's
honestly,
pretty much what I told him.
I think they're far too intelligent for something like that.
Like, I have full faith in them, and I have confidence that they won't stoop to that.
And I'm not even convinced that Thanos is going to be the main villain in Endgame.
Oh, interesting.
So,
Okay.
There's a reason why we're a month away from this movie, and we have had one trailer that shows us nothing.
I know, and I'm so happy about that.
Yes, I'm tickled about it.
So pleased with that. My prediction, though, like, I'll just go ahead and say it. My prediction for Endgame, and I don't like to speculate that much or, like, do anything, but I have a feeling, I can't even keep it straight, but I have a feeling that Carol is going to go up to Thanos, and then they're going to, like, be duking it out and stuff, and then suddenly it's going to be like, oh, their mother's name is Martha. Or their mothers have the same first name. Or no. Damn it. I should have... I fumbled that.
It's too late.
Yeah, I know. Carol's going to be fighting Thanos, and then Thanos is like, no, don't kill me. I have to get back to Goose. Wait, your cat's name is Goose?
Anyway. I'm sorry. I'm happy you're so giddy about that.
I'm so pleased with that, and I wish that I would have thought of it before I did my stupid, like, take on it. But anyway, anything we haven't touched on that you want to talk
Annette
about?
Bening, I liked her role in the film. I thought she was a lot of fun as the AI Supreme version of Marvel.
Yeah.
And I would actually like to see a lot more background between those two characters. Obviously, there's a lot of depth between those two characters for the movie. I think it would have been cool to see a little bit more than that, but I get why there wasn't. And I also like the take on her being a secret Kree. Trying to, So I like come full circle with the twist. I like that she was secretly trying to help these refugees and end the war between these two species.
What did you think of just the refugees aspect of it?
I think that was a neat parallel with current events. And I don't know if it was meant for that, but I enjoy that kind of that take on a bad guy, a perceived bad guy just being refugees trying to find new place in the universe. Yeah. So I was a fan of that. That's one of the better aspects of the film for me.
I agree. Yeah. I really like that. It kind of gave an interesting kind of heart to the action and the kind of third act action. Stakes is what I wanted to say.
I also there was a I don't know if I'd call it a throwaway line, but there was a good little interaction between Ben Mendelsohn's character and Brie Larson, where she's come to the realization now that what's the truth behind the war, and she starts to make I've done these things that I thought, and Ben Mendelsohn says this was a war, there's blood on everybody's hands, and I was like, I really like that kind of that him saying that, because I really think it rings true, especially throughout the whole MCU in general. So I really enjoyed that little discussion between the two.
Yeah, same here. Well, we're probably running a little bit low on time, and we should probably wrap it up. I do want to ask one thing, and this is more something I wish that they would have done, and I'm not aware that they have done to an extent, but I kind of wish, like you said, like you wanted to see more of the space stuff and Hala and everything. And I agree, yeah, we're at the point in the MCU where we're being introduced to different storylines that have their own mythology, like Guardians of the Galaxy. There's so much, there's a whole universe there. And I know that they've done some things like this, like having like one shot or offshoot things like with Ant-Man and stuff, but like having I wish that there were an MCU like specific line of comic books that I wish that would have been something that they did at the beginning, like started out like having like supplemental stuff just to have backstory for the characters that's canon for the MCU. You wouldn't want it?
No,
really?
No. I like the separation between the MCU and comic books. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Yeah.
They're two different forms of storytelling, and I know it's the same universe technically, but I like them separate.
You believe in the the separation of screen and page.
That's right.
Yeah. As someone who doesn't read the comics though, like in general, like I don't dip my toes into the Marvel comics or anything. I just think it would be fun to have that be.
I get that. So.
Yeah. At the least, I kind of wish that they still did the Marvel one-shot, like, short film.
Yes, I did enjoy those. I wish they'd bring those back, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, last, you want to talk about the tag?
Yo, yes! Okay, yeah. So, Goose throws up the Tesseract. But no, the mid-credit scene, where he's typing out the Protector, initiative, oh, wait, no.
No, I'm talking about the
That's the end of the movie. Okay, yeah. The Endgame stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, shit.
Jesus.
Okay. Yeah. What'd you think of it?
That was great.
Yeah.
I was so, and this goes back to me liking Captain Marvel as a character. Mm-hmm. I was excited to see her in this scene, directed by the Russo brothers.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I really think I'm going to like more Captain Marvel directed by action competent directors. I'm so excited to see her kind of be brought up to speed, because I assume, well, I don't know if it's a good assumption, but I kind of wonder if she doesn't know what's going on. Oh, I'm sure she has almost zero idea what's going on Earth. Yeah. She might have an inkling as to who Thanos is. Mm-hmm. In fact, it'd be stupid for her not know who Thanos is.
Right.
Or have any idea about the Infinity Stones. I'm sure she's going to have knowledge of that, but I'm sure she's going to have zero knowledge of basically the superhero boom on Earth since she left. But she's going to know who Thanos is. She's going to know a little bit about Infinity Stones, so.
Yeah, and like my initial thought was like, oh, she's just going to come to Earth and like everyone's going to be like, hey, yeah, half of everyone's gone, man. Like we're in dire straits here. But also it's like, okay, half of everything and half of every living being in the universe is gone. So like
she's going to know some events happened. Yeah.
But one thing that I really loved about that mid-credit scene was that just the absolute not drop, but the complete tonal shift. Like when
The desperation.
Yes.
The desperation
the despair,
there. Yeah.
like just the way that
It's like they have no idea what this is, but it's
Yeah.
like, Jesus Christ, we have to do something.
Yeah, just the way that they delivered their lines, like the Russo brothers, perfect directors.
Yep.
Because they get that kind of despair out of the actors. God, I'm so excited for Endgame.
Me too.
I can't wait for Goose to just come in and save the day. That's the real like Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, he's gonna come in and swallow the gauntlet, and that's it.
Yep. That'll be it.
all.
Yeah. Flurker to the rescue.
Yeah. So we are like what, 5 weeks?
Probably about 5.5 weeks now.
Yeah, away from Endgame. Jesus Christ.
And we've had one trailer.
We have had technically. Well, we've had
30-second
teaser.
Super Bowl spot
Yeah.
does not count as a trailer.
Yeah. I'm so happy about that. I'm
Me too.
so happy about that. God, that's so awesome. Yeah. So anyway, I'm so pumped. What'd you think of the stinger at the? First of all, before we do that, because I mean it was fun. But what did you think of the ending where like it's like she's the reason it's called the event?
I'm okay with that. That's
Okay.
I thought that was kind of fun.
Mhm.
Kind of fun. My brother didn't love it. He thought it was a little just hackneyed, but
Sure.
yeah, I thought it was all right.
Okay. Nice.
Didn't love it. Didn't hate it. I was like, oh, all right, fair enough.
What did Peter think of the eye thing?
Oh, hated it. There's not a whole lot of anything that Peter enjoyed about the movie. He
Oh, really?
really did not enjoy it.
Wow. I love it.
I
Yeah.
glad somebody did.
Yep. Yeah. The one thing that I hate about it though is that all of my negative reviews before it came out got wiped on Rotten Tomatoes.
Goddamn Rotten Tomatoes.
I know. God. Anyway, so that's our review of Captain Marvel. It was a lot of fun. One thing, I'm going to put her on the spot. Kirsten, she did not catch on to the Marvel thing.
Oh, really?
Like at all.
Like,
Like when she realized that like when it's like revealed in the movie or whatever, like it comes together, she was like, oh, I was like, okay.
is Mike going to do at all a little short review of it? Because I'm curious what he thought as well.
I'll have to ask him to, and we'll see. But yeah, I'll ask him to. Yeah.
If not, I guess I can get on Letterboxd and read his review.
Yeah. My review. You could sign up.
Yeah, I
for
could.
Letterboxd
Yeah.
and do that. But yeah, my review of it on Letterboxd actually got like a lot of likes, like a lot more than usual. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, we're running late. Forgo Potpourri or quick one or.
Just really quick, I'll talk about Leaving Neverland.
Okay, cool. So Potpourri, we're gonna do a lightning round Potpourri real quick. Potpourri is a section of the podcast where we talk about whatever we want, stuff we're looking forward to, or stuff we've seen lately. Anything we want, as long as it smells good. I'm gonna go ahead and just get us kicked off with a real quick one. I've been rewatching The Shield on Hulu. Me and Tiny are going to do a full series retrospective episode down the road. I just finished season 6 today. That show is incredible. It's today's the day of this recording is the 17-year anniversary of the pilot episode airing. I highly recommend everyone to go onto Hulu and watch the pilot episode of The Shield. It is amazing. And that show holds up so spectacularly well. I just today, I genuinely don't know if I made this joke to you off mic, Fekkes, but, today I pulled the trigger.
Yeah,
no
you
pun
did.
intended. I
yes,
did.
you
Okay.
did. Exact wording, too.
Yep. I pulled the trigger, no pun intended, on buying the Blu-ray set. So when I rewatch season 7, the last season, it is going to be on Blu-ray. So I'm so excited for that. Yeah, that's my potpourri. The Shield is incredible. One of my top 3 favorite shows of all time. And, well worth watching for great storytelling, really great performances, great writing, and really good overarching storylines and stuff.
Are you staring at me because you want me to watch it?
No, maybe I don't know.
'Cause,
It's you know.
I'm not going to watch it.
That's fine. What's your potpourri?
My potpourri is I just, well, not just. Last week I watched the 2-part controversial documentary Leaving Neverland, which is pretty much, it's a bit of a talking head documentary.
Okay.
Interviewing 2 victims of the Michael Jackson child molestation accusations and their families. And it's 2-hour documentaries. And here's the thing. I have for the longest believed Michael Jackson to have been a child predator.
Right.
I have, since, probably the days of the accusations. Coming into this, documentary, I was, first of all, I was enormously curious, because of the buzz that was getting, coming out of Sundance. And of course, because the Michael Jackson, which we're looking for the family, I guess, but,
Sure.
estate that was very anti this documentary, and I expect it to be. I don't expect the, Michael Jackson estate to come out and be like, well, these guys kind of make a good point. I expect them to fight all this tooth and nail. And I know there's some controversy, Jesus, as to, these 2 particular victims. But after watching these 2 documentaries, first of all, a lot of it's hard to listen to because they go into detail. I don't know how anyone couldn't be convinced.
Really?
If anyone has ever studied anything about child predators, child molesters, what Michael does is is textbook grooming. Wow. The things that he does and says to them, and they are extremely descriptive. Not only descriptive, but what they say is very much mirrored between one another's stories. And not only that, also the stories of the other accusers that came out that were settled out of court.
Oh.
So it's engaging for that reason. It's hard to, like I said, it's hard to listen to, but it's hard for me to believe that anyone walk away from these documentaries not at least questioning maybe he was a child predator. I mean, me personally, there's no doubt in my mind after all this, but like it's all textbook behavior from a child predator.
Is it just talking heads and is it just the kind of lining up of each statement from each victim, like the way that lines up, or do they have like any kind of like footage or
they have footage and audio stuff from the time period, footage of Michael with these kids. What's really disturbing is voicemails, or I guess, not voicemails, but answering machine messages left by Michael and these kids' answering machines, and it's disturbing. Like some of the things that he leaves on these messages, and one of the kids he faxes like on a daily basis with some horrific notes that they still have and they show in the documentary, and it's just, Jesus, how does anyone contest this at this point? And it's disturbing, and what makes me most sad about all this is I think there's a large portion of the population that'll never be able to look past Michael Jackson as a pop icon to see him for what he was. And there's still going to be people that will enthusiastically listen to his music, defend Michael, spend money on his stuff, go see his show out in Vegas. Me personally, I won't. If a Michael Jackson song comes on the radio, I change the channel. I just cannot give any support to a pedophile.
Right.
And that's me personally. People disagree with me and will fight me head on about it, but that's fine. That's their opinion. That's their prerogative. There's no doubt in my mind after watching this that man was a monster.
Wow. That's also why you left the Catholic Church. I'm really eager to watch the documentaries or the 2-part documentary. But I just feel like I need to kind of mentally prepare myself for it because it sounds like it's going to be kind of a tough watch.
It's a tough watch. Yeah. It's because nobody wants to listen to somebody describe pedophilia.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. I mean, they go into detail on the manners of which he would have elaborate systems set up to not get caught.
Jesus.
Like Neverland Ranch was a fucking torture chamber of pedophilia. And
that's nuts.
I can't say this enough. The parents have to share blame on this. Who lets their child sleep in the same bed as a grown man while you're not even staying in the same fucking house?
Yeah. I can't fathom that at all.
Like it's insane.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's so, I'm even more anxious to watch the documentary now because I think just in my perception of all of it, because I know the allegations and everything, and I know the story to an extent, but my perception of it has always been that he was not cognizant of his behavior, that he was just like
that's
in a thing.
First of all, I've never, even before listening to the victims describe that, I never believed that, nor would I give any credence to that.
Yeah.
No sane human being thinks it's okay to molest children.
Right.
Even pedophiles know what they are doing is against, at the very least, against cultural norms.
Right. Right.
So no, that he didn't know what he was doing. That doesn't fly with me, especially not with acts of sexual crime.
Right.
Especially. So, but if that was your inkling, it's going to change once you watch this.
Like to kind of clarify that, I'm not saying like, okay, he wasn't cognizant of his behavior being bad in terms of like, oh, molesting children is bad. More like the whole like, oh, inviting children over and then like the kind of defense that was brought out, like my understanding of his defense in the trials and everything or whatever was that, nothing inappropriate happened. He was just a kid. Like he is like a kid who wants to spend time with kids. That's my perception of the defense of his, against
that's the defense that they make. Watch the documentary. There's so much that is just mind blowing.
Okay.
Almost to me as bad as Abducted in Plain Sight.
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
Another mind blowing, but topic for another day.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a fun time watching some stuff. I'm gonna watch Abducted in Plain Sight, Leaving Neverland. Probably, I don't know.
Watch that R. Kelly documentary afterwards.
Watch the R. Kelly. There you go. I was gonna say like watch some old Michael Vick videos.
Round it out with Hotel Rwanda.
Exactly. Oh God. So I think that about does it for this episode of The Obsessive Viewer. Leaving Neverland is currently on HBO Go, HBO Now, and everything. Check that out there. Also check out The Tale, also on HBO. Have you watched The Tale?
It's on my list.
Okay,
it's on my list.
If you want a really good movie about sexual trauma and molestation and everything.
And boy, who doesn't?
Right? Great companion to Leaving Neverland. Jesus Christ. So that's our episode. Next time we are going to have me and Tiny doing a letterboxd potpourri / extended potpourri / moving my couch out so I can get a new one. Again, check out Anthology, my solo podcast at anthologypod.com, and check out Tower Junkies at towerjunkiespod.com, where we just finished reviewing season 1 of Castle Rock. And,
Castle Rock!
Dumbest thing I've ever done. So check that out. And, any parting thoughts?
If you want to debate me on Michael Jackson, you know where to find me.
Nice. And if you want to debate me on me telling Fekkes to put Carol Danvers in her place, you know where to find me. I'm not a misogynist. Okay. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
And now, here's a short clip from our Patreon exclusive RSS feed. To hear the full clip and more exclusive Patreon content, go to patreon.com/obsessiveviewer and become a patron at the minimum rate of $1 per month. Thank you and enjoy. What do you think of, how do you think pizza would fare in a Jurassic Park? And follow-up question, how do you think Neville would fare?
Both would do terrible. They would be fodder for velociraptor-type dinosaurs.
Have you seen how cute pizza is?
Do you know how well the mammals did during the dinosaur eras?
Well...
Not well.
Yeah, well...
Not well. Mammals did not flourish until they died. So...
The Obsessive Viewer podcast is edited and produced by Matt Hurt and presented by ObsessiveViewer.com. For a full archive of our episodes, go to ObsessiveViewer.com/OV archive. You can also like our Facebook page and join the OV Facebook group at Facebook.com/TheObsessiveViewer. And follow us on Twitter at ObsessiveViewer and at ObsessiveTiny. And follow our recurring co-hosts at I am Mike White, that's me, at R.A. Fekkes, and at Burger_Lurker. If you enjoy the show, please take a couple minutes to leave us a rating and a quick review on Apple Podcasts. This is the easiest way to support what we do, and all it costs is a little bit of your time. If you'd like to donate to the podcast, you can make a PayPal donation at obsessiveviewer.com/donate, or support us on Patreon for recurring donations and access to commentary tracks and B-roll audio recorded exclusively for patrons at patreon.com/obsessiveviewer. Every donation goes toward paying the fees to keep the podcast running and is greatly appreciated. For official Obsessive Viewer merch, including shirts, mugs, phone cases, and more, visit our TeePublic store. You can find a link to the store in the show notes of this episode and at obsessiveviewer.com/donate. Or you can simply search for Obsessive Viewer at teepublic.com, T-E-E, public.com. For information about our annual live event showcasing short horror films from local filmmakers, check out shocktoberInIrvington.com. And for an archive of all our events, as well as news about potential future events, head over to obsessiveviewer.com/live. For more podcast content, you can find Anthology, Matt's solo podcast covering The Twilight Zone and other classic and contemporary science fiction anthology TV shows at anthologypod.com and on Twitter at OVAnthologyPod. You can also find Tower Junkies, a podcast where Matt and Tiny share their love of all things Stephen King and his magnum opus, the Dark Tower series, at towerjunkiespod.com and at towerjunkiespod on Twitter. And finally, check out The Secular Perspective, Tiny's side project podcast, which tackles current events and life's big questions from the perspective of secular hosts Chad and Amanda at thesecularperspective.com. The theme music for The Obsessive Viewer comes courtesy of the band Loudlike from their EP Mistakes We Must Make. Additional bumper music is provided courtesy of As Good As It Gets, which can be found at facebook.com/asgoodasitgetsband. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Kitty!
Aren't you the cutest little thing? Aren't you cute? And what's your name, huh?
Carrie.
What's... I'll be back.